Hello everybody, this is Major General Michael Walsh. He's the commander of the Mississippi Valley Division and the president of the Mississippi River Commission. He is over the entire Mississippi River as far as the flood fight goes. And with him is Major General John Peabody. He's in charge of the Lakes and Rivers Division, and he's helping us keep the rivers a little bit lower with all the reservoirs upstream. So just got a few moments to make some comments. Sir?
Well, thank you. And we also have your district commander, Colonel Reichling is here as well. He's been here for more than a couple of days in working this flood fight specifically in this town. It was a flood in 1927. It was originally the start of the Mississippi River Tributaries Project, and since then we had a responsibility from the Congress to build a system that would be able to protect this area from floods, and we've been building that system since 1928. This flood that we have this year, while we don't have the final results from the hydrologists, looks like it's going to be that flood of record that we're trying to protect against. And so we're going to get to above 60 on the Cairo gauge. Your gauge here is going to be above 60, and that gauge has never been to 60. I think the last high was 59.3. We're currently at 59.19, so that we're at historic levels. And that's not just putting pressure here at Cairo, but the entire system is being put under pressure. Here at Cairo, further downstream at Fulton County in Kentucky, and we're also preparing floodways down in Louisiana at the Bonnie-Carrie and Morganza. So this is going to be the biggest amount of stress that these levees have been put under since we've constructed them, started the construction in 1928. Just talked with the mayor, and we looked at this boil. This is probably the biggest boil that I've seen, and you and your team have been doing a great job in controlling this boil. But there's certainly some concerns in what that's going to do and how this could act as a mechanism that we need to keep good track on. And Mayor is going to be talking with his council and decide further on what we need to do with the citizens of this town. This is a serious, as I've seen in the 3 years that I've been your Mississippi River Commission president, that these levees have been under. Thank you, and I appreciate you all being here today. We took off this morning from where my headquarters is in Vicksburg, Mississippi. We went up to pick up some of our other members of the Mississippi River Commission. We went to Cincinnati, and we picked up General Peabody. So we flew over the Ohio. We flew over the Kentucky Barkley, where he's holding back waters, and I'll have him talk, and he'll talk about that in just a little bit. We flew over the system, and as you guys know, it is full. There is water in places where we hadn't ever seen it before. And then we flew into this area, and we picked up R.D. James, our third member that we have here today from the Mississippi River Commission. Our other commissioner from the Northwest Division, General John Peabody. He and I are in constant contact with General Peabody and the other members of the commission as well. So we're all tracking exactly where we are in the system. As you guys know, the Cairo gauge as of this morning and this afternoon is at 59.19. It's not been the highest that it's ever been in history, but it's getting pretty close to it. 59.5 is the highest that the Cairo's gauge has been in history. Currently, we're at 59.19. As you recall from my discussions earlier, the project that we have put in, the Mississippi River Tributaries Project, which the Mississippi River Commission has been working on since 1928, that system we've been working on since the flood of 27, with the requirement of never having a flood like that again in this area. So since 1928, we've been putting the levees and the flood walls together to prevent those type of floodings that we had in 1927. In that design of this project, there are 4 floodways. One of those floodways is here at Bird Point, New Madrid, and the other 3 are down towards Louisiana. We've already talked with the folks down in Louisiana and talked to people who will be at the Moganza and the Bonnie Carey spillway, that we may be opening up those floodways as well. And so this is an event that may use all of the resources that we have to control this level of flooding that we have in the system. Public safety and protecting lives, again, is the Corps' #1 mission. Is how do we every decision we made is calculated into public safety and protecting lives. We have hundreds of engineers and scientists from throughout the Corps working with us and the National Weather Service, making sure that we've got the latest and best information that we can as we address the issue, the unprecedented issue of how we have so much water in our systems and how we address that. So we've got all the folks from my division working from St. Louis on down, working the Mississippi, and General Peabody will talk a little bit about what he's got going in his area. But it's even more than what we have in our 3 divisions. We also have the latest from our Research and Development Center as well, working with us, trying to predict where we're going and the engineering uncertainties as we move forward. It's certainly, and I mentioned last time, I know many of you personally, this is certainly a fight at the human dimension, and I know that the price being paid is high. As I flew over, I saw numbers of structures and facilities underwater and people evacuating. And certainly this is being fought on the human dimension as well. This mission is extraordinarily complex. As we designed the system, there's parts of it that's not behaving in the way that we had thought, and there's a lot of areas where we're having underseepage, where we have our engineers and scientists working on how to work that underseepage. We're putting in sand berms as well as water berms, and we're putting a lot of sand boil fights going on at Cairo, at Fulton County, and a number of different areas up and down the river. We've really been able to take a tremendous amount off of the Cairo gauge because of what's been going on in the Great Lakes and Ohio River Division, and that'll be General Peabody, and he'll talk to you about it in just a minute. Now, I have ordered the motor vessel Mississippi, which was at Hickman, Kentucky, standing by with the slurry mix. I have ordered them from Hickman, Kentucky, to move to Bird's Point, and they should be arriving in the next couple of hours. That's one of the many decisions that we make before and if we ever get to the decision of operating. After that, the next decision is to take the barges and pre-position them. The next one is to charge the pipes, and the next one is to operate. So there's still a lot of decision points as we move forward in this event. The forecast, as you know, and it's certainly raining here now, is we'll get to 60.5 on the Cairo gauge, and we're projecting that in the 2nd and 3rd of May. So we're keeping a close eye on that, and we're also keeping a close eye on the system. As I mentioned, this system, the Mississippi River Tributaries Project, has never been under this type of pressure before, and there's different places of it where things are beginning to degrade. We'll put people into those positions, and we'll flood fight them back into where they become stabilized. So we're keeping track of the Cairo gauge, and we're also keeping track of the system. With that, perhaps General Peabody will give us an update on what's going on in the Kentucky part. General Peabody.
Thanks, Mike. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's my honor to support General Walsh and the Mississippi Valley Division and the Mississippi River Commission in this historic flood fight. In July of 1969, the town of Norwalk, Ohio got flooded out, and my father's business was flooded. And I have a visceral understanding of the impact of flooding to people, and the Corps of Engineers' mission, as General Walsh said, is to protect public safety, minimize the flooding, and minimize the damage to property, and minimize the impact of lives to the degree that we can. Now, part of the way we do that in the Ohio River Division, or the Ohio River Basin, is by operating, as General Walsh said, the Kentucky and the Barkley Lake dam flood control projects in coordination with the Tennessee Valley Authority. Right now, as of an hour ago, that pool level has risen to a record level. So we are holding back as much water as we can, while at the same time balancing reserve storage for the future rain that we're going to see coming up in the next 4 days, because we have to hold back the water that's going to fall on that system there as well. When it gets up to 375 feet, we can't hold water anymore, and there's a threat that we could lose the project due to overtopping, so we have to manage to somewhat under that level. Currently we're just above 370 feet. We're also holding back as much water as we can on all the projects on the Cumberland River, which are the main projects that we have that store water that feed into Kentucky and Barkley Lake. In addition, 2 days ago, I took the unprecedented step of ordering all the districts in the Ohio River Basin to start holding back water at all of their reservoirs, even though the outflows from those reservoirs are in general very modest and very low in comparison to the almost 2 million cubic feet per second that are passing at Cairo now. As General Walsh's deputy said the other day, we could win or lose this fight by inches, and each inch equates to 5,000 cubic feet per second at this river stage. So in anticipation that we may have additional bad weather and that we may have high water for some period of time, and knowing that we can't get perfect predictions from the Weather Service and that our models are just imperfect models of what actually happens on the ground, we're holding back all the water that we can in the entire Ohio River Basin without flooding the local folks that are protected by those projects as well. And I'll be happy to support General Walsh with any questions at the end of the conference. General Walsh, thanks for your support, and thanks for allowing me to be part of this. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. James?
I am R.D. James. I've been a member of the Mississippi River Commission since 1981. I've seen this type flood fight many times, but not to this extent. Folks, this is the largest flood any of us will see in our history, I hope. We're looking at 60.5 feet at Cairo, which surpasses the 1937 flood. We are focusing here today on the Birch Point, New Madrid floodway area. That just happens to be the first point of attack for the MRT project that the Commission's faced with. This major historic flood will move all the way to the Gulf of Mississippi, Mexico by way of the Mississippi River and the Chaffalaya rivers. We will be having to fight this same type fight all the way down there. I will tell you that I have been hand in hand with these generals for about the past 10 days, and you can rest assured that every asset they have are working to try to prevent using the Birch Point, New Madrid floodway. That may come, it may have to be executed as part of the law of 1928, but they're holding off and doing everything they can, including trying to help Cairo, trying to help Western Kentucky, and everyone else affected by this flood. For more personal respect, I would like to let everyone know that the sheriffs of New Madrid County and Mississippi County, they are your point of contact. If you have any concerns, any fears, if you want to leave your areas, whether you need to, whether you don't, they are your points of contact. They are working hand in hand with the National Guard of the state of Missouri. Those people are on hand to assist in any way they can. There's concern about the setback levee that East Prairie is adjacent to. As far as we know at this time, that setback levee is in very good condition and will hold even if the Birch Point, New Madrid floodway is operated. The same way on the lower end of the floodway, the citizens of New Madrid are concerned about that amount of water coming down and attacking their mainline levee head on. Again, we feel that those levees, they're higher levees for number one, the mainline levee, and we feel that they will hold under that circumstance. But if you have concerns about that, you know, talk to the sheriffs and make preparations if you don't want to stay. Don't endanger yourselves on what we think. We think those will hold. I don't think there's any factor at all or any chance that we would say they would not hold. But please contact your local officials. They're the ones that have access, boots on the ground, and are working arm in arm with the National Guard to assist you in any way. Thank you very much.
Just to remind you, please, we'll go ahead and take questions from the House here, and if you would, raise your hand. The General will recognize you and tell us who you are, and then go ahead with your question.
Thank you. Before we take questions, let me just say again, public safety is number one, and that's what we're continuing to work with. I'd also say that cooperation and collaboration is not an option. We're going to have to work with each other. We are going to work with each other, and we are doing that very well. I'm in daily contact with the governor of Illinois and also the governor of Missouri. I've talked to them both today and yesterday, giving them an update on where we're at. Their use of the National Guard and their acceptance with us working with the local law enforcement could not be better. We've been working with each other hand in glove and keeping each other informed. So cooperation is not an option. Everybody realizes that public safety is number one.